Eve is such a badass action hero, but then a lot of people also remember her for the Jiggle physics.
Even though they can admire her physique, they're quite like protective over her. She is never a damsel in distress, which made me so happy.
How much Eve mean personally to you?
I feel like I never fully lay the character to rest or put her down. I still carry her, basically.
With Wuthering Waves, how different do you find Ciaconna to Alfira?
The reference for Ciaconna was Alfira. We recorded Ciaconna for all intents and purposes quite quickly, and they make it look so stunning.
Dying Light the Beast came out and you play Olivia.
I definitely tried to bring in a bit more like humor to her, and they were like, no, please stop doing that. She's a scientist.
You mentioned like there's so many games that keeps on coming. Like how has it been for you to like work on so many games at this point? Even the last 1 year you have worked in so many, or you've been part of so many games.
Yeah, there are a few weeks where my brain starts to become quite jumbled. But most of the time, like, you know, I'm lucky to get to play quite a lot of different characters. And so as soon as you kind of step into the booth, you kind of hear your reference from last time and you're like, okay, we're this person today. And it's so much fun getting to do so many different things. I think with, you know, I guess with TV acting, you're quite limited to, I guess, your casting bracket, as wide as that can be. But I guess with voice, you know, it can be, you can be playing a 10-year-old one day and then an army leader the next. And I enjoy that variety, definitely.
That's amazing. Yeah, you've done so many variety of characters, and it's amazing to see how many different characters they are. And I think one of the games that came out last year, but came also this year on PC platform, came out on PS5 last year, was Stellar Blade. And it's such a big franchise, big game, blockbuster game for you. Like how much Stellar Blade at this point mean to you?
So much. And it's really lovely because it's, you know, I still get messages, even though it came out like a year ago, and people are still replaying it or starting to play it for the first time. And I think just recording it, I just didn't have any idea about how big it was going to be. Which I think is a good thing. I think it's a good thing for anything that you're doing if you just keep your expectations very low and just enjoy yourself while you're there and not think about it when it's released and what will happen afterwards. So yes, it means so much to me, and I feel like Eve is just kind of part of my daily life now, which is great.
It's amazing. Yeah, that game has done so much wonders for a lot of people. Everybody enjoyed so much. I had a great time. I was dying a lot, but I was having a good time. That was something that I did a lot. So I was like, oh my God, I'm getting frustrated. I was dying so much, but then I would see story scenes and moments and I was like, okay, I want to see what's happening next. And she's a badass character. Eve is such a badass action hero. And a lot of people remember her for that, which must be amazing for you. But then a lot of people also remember her for the Jiggle physics. That is a term that you must have known from. Does it still surprise you that a lot of people's attention go towards the latter part?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of, I mean, I know that it's a massive part of it, but I think strangely, so I haven't received any messages that are in any way kind of, I don't know, exploitative of Eve. Most of the time people just really want to look after her is what I seem to get from it. So like, even though they can maybe admire her physique, they're quite like protective over her, which is nice. And then at least, you know, in my mind, at least she can look incredible and be a fierce boss-ass bitch at the same time, which is a joy.
What was, and I know it's been a while, but what was your sort of first impressions when you saw her? Was that like, did you immediately think of like, oh, maybe she would be a little bit more sweet when you were gonna be, you know, portraying her?
Yes, maybe. I think because I was sent, I'm trying to think of the first image of her that I was sent. I think it was actually a full body, but she had, a kind of weapon in hand and looked quite, you know, in her way, calm but fierce. And I was like, okay. So I think probably going into it, yes, I thought there would be more kind of she might lean into the damsel in distressness sometimes, and she absolutely doesn't, which made me so happy. She's never a damsel in distress. And yeah, so I worked with the director Effie Loy quite a lot in that first week, just finding her voice and her tone and exactly like her attitude and where she sits. And she's just so composed. I think that was what we just kept coming back to, and that just kind of adds to her total badassery.
Yeah, she is calm and composed, and I often see like with actors like I'm gonna drop some names with like Tom Cruise. When I listen to Tom Cruise, I remember of Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible. I see Keanu Reeves. I remember John Wick and David Cornsweet now as Superman. So there's all these actors have their own superheroes or heroes attached to them, and for you, it's Eve from Stellar Blade. Like, does that weirdly a dream come true moment for you?
It is. And I think the nice thing as well is that, um, there are definitely so many people that do look up who the voice actor is behind it, and I get some lovely messages. But a lot of the time, people don't associate me with Eve. Like, they're a huge fan of Eve, the character, and would have, no idea that I voice her, which is actually quite a nice, like separation. And it means that she can just kind of like stand alone in her own awesomeness. And I do find it quite funny because um I can definitely be quite fierce if I want to be, but most of the time I am pretty I'm just an old lady. I like to sit on my couch with a book and a cup of tea. And so it's just quite funny the the juxtaposition between me in my pajamas with a cup of tea and a fantasy novel, and then people messaging me like, I just got to this really awesome part in the game and Eve just smashed this monster. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. um, so
Wow.
yes, it's quite nice. It's quite nice being able to fully encompass both is maybe what I'm saying.
The story is also very unique because at one point Eve is fighting her friend. I think in the very beginning she was with a friend and her arm cut off, or was taken away or died, and then she's fighting her friend
Tachy!
again. Yeah, and
Mm.
it's like, what was your? I don't. I know it's like it's been a while, but like, what has been your reaction knowing that that is going to happen, or when you read that in the first time, like, oh, this is happening on that day.
So with the first kind of fight scene where Taki dies, spoilers, but like
Yeah.
it's been a while now and it's literally right in the beginning of the game. I so the joy of dubbing is that the cutscenes are already animated, so I actually get to watch it and double onto it, which never happens in other games. You're just saying the words to nothing. Um and so I remember, they showed me the scene, and I was at the end. Effie, the director, was like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "No." So I really felt it. It was yeah, it was quite harrowing. But I think that's why it's really a lot of the things I didn't see. It's not like they sent the cutscenes to me beforehand, because that would have been heavy breach of NDA. So I watched everything in the studio in the moment, which I think really helped,
Mm.
because I felt things very kind of viscerally and right there and could just react. Although my emotions as Rebecca are far greater than Eve's, so I had to react in the moment and then stifle them and be much more calm. I don't think it would have been the same if Eve had a total breakdown. Um,
Mm. Right.
yes, does that answer your question? Um,
I mean,
I
yeah. I
didn't. I
mean,
didn't know it was coming. I think I didn't know it was coming. Is what? Yeah. So
mhm.
I just reacted in the moment, basically.
That's amazing. Do you ever think like obviously Eve has like this calmer tone and she's gonna face things calmly. Obviously, to it, like later part of the game, we see like she has a little bit more, I suppose, personality, a little bit more rage, a little bit more emotions. But do you did you feel like maybe initially, I don't know if that's a thought, but did you think like, oh, I wish Eve had more to say instead of having this constrained space?
Yes. But I love a character that has an arc. And I trusted Effie so implicitly that like she would carry Eve from the beginning to the end and make sure that that kind of emotional journey was also present. And so she very much let me know when, it was kind of pertinent for Eve to open up a little bit more. And then I enjoyed those moments all the more, especially kind of right at the end where, she is confronting Adam. Spoilers. And I really got to let rip, and that was fantastic. So yeah, it made those moments all the more special.
With what happens and what we get to know, like, okay, the people that we are fighting, or the things that we are fighting, are essentially human beings, and what Adam was doing and everything. And I want to know from like you mentioned, you would see these scenes and then you understand, oh, this happens. What do you think about those sort of endings moments, what Adam was doing and what was happening, and what you personally felt, and what do you think Eve was also feeling at that time?
I can fully see why Eve is so unbelievably conflicted, because it is complicated, and I think that there is no right answer either.
Right.
So I think she definitely felt betrayed, regardless of whether or not she kind of agrees with Adam in the end. The fact that he's kind of lied to her throughout the entire game is still a betrayal. So I think I really got to lean into that regardless of which ending we kind of go with. And then, yeah, I think it kind of, all endings leave it quite open, don't they? There's no kind of like total, everything is sunshine, happy rainbows, and all wrapped up in a nice bow. Like it's very, I think she's still conflicted by the end, and it's, it leaves it open to see what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it again.
It's so obviously my follow-up question would be like, where would you think Eve would go in a potential sequel if that happens? Like, where do you think she would be going? Do you have like any idea? Like, maybe I would like to see her there.
Don't know. Yes, I mean, I would like it if she went back to the colony. And just, I mean, I want to explore that whole side of things, and to see what's going on there. That's exactly where I would want her to kind of end up, for sure. But for Lily to still be by her side, so I would need to ensure that happens.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe time traveling, maybe something like that can be brought in from out of nowhere, and it's just gonna work out. How has this character challenged you differently than any other character that you have played?
Good question. I think probably definitely in the kind of stoicism was challenging, and also just in terms of, again, with dubbing anything where somebody else has already originated the voice and done a phenomenal job with it. You're then having to try and kind of match their tone and energy and their characterization of Eve, whilst also making it your own. And then there's the language kind of, not barrier, but like Korean sometimes will take 5 seconds to say a line, whereas we would take 10, and then vice versa. And so it's trying to make sure that the English script is matching the timings whilst also matching the intention of the line, whilst also entirely matching the performance. And, so when you're watching these cutscenes, basically, you watch it once so you know what's happening. And then you watch it again, a line comes across to tell you when to start speaking. Your line comes up at the bottom. So you're reading this while watching. And then 2 lines start coming in to tell you when to stop speaking. And so and then the next line comes and it's all of that. So you're kind of watching 4 different things at the same time, whilst also trying to make sure that the character sounds totally natural and authentic. So that was a challenge, but one which I really loved, and it's a total kind of different creative side of things that you wouldn't get in another game if you're originating the character. So that was a huge learning curve. And then I guess, anything else about kind of Eve herself that is tricky. I think maybe the kind of the battle sounds as well, because she's such a prolific fighter. You're wanting to make sure that she sounds as though she's giving it her all without in any way sounding exhausted, or sometimes like it's even a challenge for her. Right. So it's finding that balance between making sure that you're putting as much effort in as possible whilst not making it too effortful, because Eve wouldn't be that fussed. So that was a balance as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I am not in anywhere near a voice actor, because I would completely fail it, and first day I'll be fired. So I'm so happy. Like you mentioned, like how Eve, like how she different, like how it is, and how it was different for you to kind of do the efforts. And I'm curious, like with the character herself, like how much or how does Eve mean personally to you?
I mean, she means, like with all characters that I voice, the longer that we record for, the more and more attached I get. And then you're never fully sure when the last session is either, because there's always going to be, pickups, or they've rewritten something. And so you think that it's your last session, but then you don't want to say an overly like heartfelt goodbye, because you're like, I will probably be back in like 2 weeks' time, because they'll realize that they didn't get this thing or whatever. So I feel like I never fully kind of lay the character to rest or put her down, because so I still carry her, basically, is what I'm saying. She's still there. She's ready to go. No, she means a lot. And just because, I get lots of lovely messages, or I get cameo requests where people would love to hear me say hi as Eve to them and wish them good luck with an exam or happy birthday or something. So I feel like I still get to play her every week, just in little ways. I know that I would feel really I'd feel really sad and bereft if that kind of all of a sudden disappeared. So yeah, she means a lot.
It's amazing that you still carry with her. You're able to do something as her, continue to do that. And I hope that somebody actually goes to the studio and just says, like, just do it. Just make a sequel. It's like, you want it.
Come on, guys.
Just come on. What are you waiting for? Like, yeah. So
Rebecca says that she would really like to do it again, and thus we.
That's why we're making it. Yeah. It's amazing, like, because I feel like with Eve and the way she sounds and the way Ciaconna sounds in Wuthering Waves, I feel like there's some sort of like a similarity, or like feel like they could be great friends and they could like hang out together. How do you like with Wuthering Waves? How different do you find Ciaconna to Eve and also to Alfira?
Yes. So funnily enough, the reference for Ciaconna when I went into audition for her was Alfira. So I was a bit like, if I don't get this part, it's going to be really embarrassing. So yes, there's a lot of similarity between Alfira and Ciaconna, for sure. They are really beautiful of spirit, English bards who see the best in everyone. Whereas then I guess with Eve, I think she has a much lower kind of tone, and is much less, Ciaconna giggles a lot. Eve does not giggle.
Nope.
No, and I think with Ciaconna as well, I pretty much always had a smile on my face, unless something really dramatic and horrible was happening. Um, she is quite light of spirit, whereas yes, again, like we've said, Eve is a lot more kind of reserved and stoic and matter of fact, whilst also calm. So yeah, I think they would hang out. I think they would do great together. I mean, I think there's definitely a kind of similarity between Ciaconna and Lily in terms of their kind of like sprightliness. So, Eve gets on with Lily like a house on fire. So surely she would get on with Ciaconna. I think they would bring out the best in each other. It would be adorable.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think they need to team up together, and there's gonna be like a collaboration. Like here we go, Wuthering Waves, and it's both voiced by me. So yay! So yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be
Well, they did the Stellar Blade Nike collaboration.
yes,
So yeah, surely Wuthering Waves is next.
of course.
Yeah.
I'm like it's wonderful to see Alfira is a bard, and obviously Ciaconna is a bard. Like, what is it with you playing bards?
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm very pleased. And then I also voiced there's another character called Luna in the First Descendant, who is also
Yeah.
a musician. She is the bard character. I mean, I'm not complaining. I have a great time. I just kind of part of me feels like I really wish that I could actually play an instrument because I can't. So I'm a total imposter. But I do love singing and music and everything. So, but no, I'm not sure how that's just come about. I think total coincidence.
Yeah. So
Don't know.
is it like do you go back like oh maybe I should now learn making like instruments I should learn now I should learn getting better at singing or something, does that go in your mind?
Maybe. I mean, definitely with in terms of singing and or just in terms of kind of anything to do with controlling your voice, I'm always trying to work on. And then yes, I mean, in terms of the musical instrument, I wish I could play the lute or the piano. I wish I could play the piano. But I kind of wish that it's one of those things I had done as a child because now I feel it's entirely possible to do it in your 30s. But I struggle with it. I'm very much I'm kind of one of those people that if I do something for like a few hours, I'm like, well, why aren't I amazing at it yet? I am.
I understand.
So yeah,
I'm the same.
yeah. I wish I'd learned it as a kid, basically. Yeah.
Wow. I totally understand. I'm the same, but I think about that every single night before I sleep, and I have nightmares, so it's not really good. But yeah, I go through the same thing. You did this character. You also did like the child version of her, the child Ciaconna, which was very cool to know her story and what's happening with her as we explore it. Is it easy? Like, I know you have done like more child voices before. Like, is it easy for you to be that a child self of some character? Like, or, like, was there a process involved? Do you need specific things? Like, how easy it is for you to access that?
Luckily, I do voice children quite a lot. And so, and it's good because so often, whatever character I'm playing, all of a sudden there'll maybe be like a scene or two where their child self appears and they're like, oh, could you just also voice the child version? And so thankfully, yes, I can do that. It's because it's just a placement thing and a kind of speech pattern adjustment, which really kind of helps me to get into it. What is tricky is that obviously with, when I'm voicing children, I do like to bring in even more kind of lightness. Kids are just so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. But then when something really sad is happening to, when Ciaconna's kind of learning about her family and her past and her dad and everything. And it's when she starts to get quite sad about things. That's when it's harder to remain in that kind of really kind of higher child's voice. So it's like high but low. So yeah, that's the trick. But no, I don't find it too difficult, thankfully. It's
Wow.
it's there.
Yeah, the whole story of Ciaconna and what you went through and everything that we get to see is very dark. It is heartbreaking what's happening. What do you think of that story itself? Because I'm sure that you're also watching the cutscene at the same time because you're dubbing here. What do you like? Does that
Yeah.
affect you on a personal level? Do you let that affect so that you can bring it out?
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I think the animation is so beautiful as well.
Right.
And because poetry and song is such a big part of it too, there's a whole bit where the kind of young Chacona is saying this poem while she's kind of dancing with the wind. It's all very abstract, and that whole thing was just it was so beautiful. We recorded it a few times because I really just wanted to do it justice. Um, yeah, yeah. So I definitely it does affect. It can't not. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned like the animations and everything, and that particular scene. I think it's that scene where the young version, like she's dancing and she's saying this poem, and I think it transitions into the current Shikona who's having a tear in her eye, and it's like I'm just gonna watch that. I don't know if I didn't know anything else, just watching that will give those affections and feelings, and like this is so well
Hmm.
done. Just looking at
It
it.
is.
So I cannot
Yeah.
like. Do you like get emotional during watching those scenes? Does that like how is it? Because you also have to perform right after.
Yeah, true. But you can use that emotion for sure. So it's very, very helpful. Um, and I think also while watching these things, I'm just constantly amazed by the animators and the whole production team. Like they managed to get these things done so quickly. Wuthering Waves is huge. They're constantly releasing content. Um, we recorded Chacona for all intents and purposes quite quickly, and they make it look so stunning in such a short space of time. Like the teams of people that must be working on that day and night to make it look so incredible and kind of meet their deadlines and everything. That's often what I'm thinking of as well. I'm like, wow, people are so talented. It's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is beautiful. And with Chikona, like obviously you get to see the character and how she looks. What do you think of her design? Because I like how her like outfit is and how she looks and how
Mhm.
bright and bubbly and everything is. Like how what's your reaction there?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I mean her outfit's adorable and I just love her hair. I think
Yeah.
what it really strangely reminded me of, and this might be a reference that no but very few people will get, but Pippi Longstocking was very much she's like a children's character that's very big in Scandinavia, and I was born in Norway. And she basically has this kind of bright red hair in these pleats that stick out to the side. And I know Chakota doesn't quite have that, but the way that her hair sits, I think it just it reminded me of Pippi Longstocking, which I think works because Pippi is very like peppy.
Right.
And such a free spirit, just like Chacona is. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
which was a funny kind of reference in my mind.
That's so cool. And I know like this, you have like dubbing limitations. You can only say so much. You cannot really improvise because that's the line that the original actor has said. But if let's say there were no limitations, do you think you could have done anything differently or added on top of what's already existing?
I mean, I think it was good that there was definitely there was room to tweak the script. Because obviously they've translated it into English brilliantly. But every so often, I just maybe a word doesn't feel like it quite sits right in the sentence or something. So we could change that, or we could add in a few more words just to make it fit the timing or shorten something. So there was definitely room to kind of there was wiggle room to add or take away anything that we felt might kind of uh, help me and my version of Chacona. Definitely, yeah.
Understood. And like, do you think obviously it's very hard for you to get the time to play games? Do you think at any point in time, games playing the roles that you're part of would you be able to get your hands on a controller and try a little bit?
I hopefully I have a toddler at the minute, and so it's my evenings are I work during the day,
Right.
and then evenings are spent doing chores, and then getting to bed by about 9 o'clock. When I said that I was an old lady, it's true. um I just my time limitations are quite vast at the minute, but I would love to sit down at least and watch somebody play it. And I've definitely watched a few playthroughs. Like, thank God for YouTube and wonderful people who upload their playthroughs there. Because I love watching that, and I love watching people's reactions while they play. I think that's what really brings me joy. I love doing things with people, and if they're having a really good time, then I'm having a good time. Whereas I rarely I rarely sit down and kind of watch anything myself or play anything myself. Which maybe I should do more of, if when there's time. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like a day needs to be 48 hours instead of 24. I feel like that should be.
There does. There's physically not enough time in a day sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Recently, Dying Light: The Beast came out, and you play Olivia, and that's such a different role because Ciaconna is very bright and bubbly, and then you have Eve, which is like very badassery character. But this character is like a little bit on the side, but has her own ambitions and very differently in terms of how she is. How do you think? How do you see this role compared to any other role that you have done?
Yes, I mean, what they kept coming back to kind of when directing me was that Olivia is very scientific, and I definitely tried to bring in some a bit more like humor to her. I don't know why. I think sometimes the lines lend themselves to like a little bit more, or just kind of taking the mick out of something. And they were like, no, please stop doing that. She's a scientist. And I'm like, okay, no, that's totally fair. No, so she was definitely quite different to play. Like, especially with, the accent. I think they wanted her to be kind of unplaceable, kind of Scandinavian, European. And so we kind of came up with this accent. And with a backstory that she's kind of, grown up, dotted around the place, which I think really works for her because she's quite an elusive character, and you don't really, you as the game goes on, you learn kind of about her past a little bit and her dad and everything. But kind of when you first meet her, you're like, who is this person? And you don't know if you can trust her and everything. And that was quite fun as well, is playing that. She needs Crane's trust, and she wants to work with him. And so, I think that Olivia is a good character. It's complicated, and there's lots of things going on, and she has her own past and everything. But anyway, it was fun playing that kind of, I guess you shouldn't have any undertones when saying anything because you want to be fully convincing, but at least having it in the back of your mind that maybe something that she's saying isn't totally the truth.
Right.
Whether or not that changes how you deliver it, I think just knowing it sometimes is really fun. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I feel like with what you said of having some humor moment, I feel like, yeah, that needed to be there with Olivia. She need to crack some jokes with Kyle because Kyle is always too serious at times. And if there's another serious person, I'm like, we need some jokes here in this dull world, guys.
I think they definitely left quite a lot of them in. I think it was just in that first scene, they were like, when you first kind of meet Olivia, they were like, let's not make fun of the chimera that's about to arrive. Let's actually be quite serious about this. I was like, yeah, no, that's fair, guys. Yeah, that's totally fair.
Do you think like
It's that line? It's the line. Speak of the devil. I just automatically say like, oh, speak of the devil. but no, it's quite serious. Speak of the devil. The chimera is coming. So yeah. Anyway.
Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like there should be that alternate line. Like, there's another speak of the devil, and then would have been so good. I'm like, and Kyle Crane's reaction, I'm like, I am the one killing. Yeah. So, would have been great. Do you remember like any of the behind the scenes moments that like are memorable for you? Like something that happened during the recording process that was funny and something that excited?
Well, I mean, the kind of the my most memorable behind the scenes is my audition, which I didn't even realize was an audition. Basically, the reason I got the part, which is great. I got a call one day from my agent, just being like, oh, "Are you free tomorrow to do some temp audio for this game?" And I was like, looking at my diary, and I was like, "Tomorrow's actually quite." But yes, sure, let's do it. We can squeeze it in between these two things. And I really didn't think anything of it, especially when you're going to go and do temp audio for something. It's really just to kind of help the creators to maybe put together a scene for their investors or something. It won't make it to the game. It's very much just it's temporary. So I went along and it was a director, Thomas Mitchells, who I've worked with a few times. I was like, "Hi!" So we had a really nice time, and funnily enough, it was actually that first scene where Olivia and Kyle are kind of meet for the first time, and so we ran that quite a lot of times. We were working out different accents, and it was basically 2 hours of workshopping that scene, and then I left and didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, well that was lovely. See you all hopefully later. And then like a week later, I got a call being like, hey, they want to offer you the part of Olivia, which was amazing. So that was kind of an audition without me even realizing it was an audition. I don't think it was an audition. I think I just got really lucky afterwards. So they were like, oh, actually, she can probably do it. Great.
Yay.
So yeah. So that was definitely my kind of biggest behind the scenes goss is that. I think for like my first session or two, I actually we managed to get both myself and Roger in LA in the booth at the same time, plus the developers in Poland. So we were the time zones were all up in the air, but it was wonderful. So for those first two sessions, we were actually kind of all working together.
Wow.
And Roger and I were bouncing off each other, which never happens.
Yeah.
I mean, we could only do it for two sessions. It never happened for all the other weeks after that. But it was very nice to kind of establish it right at the beginning. So that was cool. And then, any other really funny kind of behind the scenesy things. I think because it's quite a dark game, there weren't huge moments of hilarity. It was quite, it was quite dark. Especially kind of, I won't do any spoilers because this game is, obviously newer than Stellar Blade, but at the end there's a dinner sequence, and it's harrowing, man. It's harrowing, and they had put together kind of like a rough animatic of it, so we could kind of watch it and really kind of emote in the moment. And I was like, this is brutal. But yes, overall, had the best time. Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea that Roger and you like worked together for some time. Like, what was that like, working with him? Because like you said, it never happens. Usually are like in booth all alone and you either are hearing or you're not hearing, but this time you're working with him so you can bounce off a little bit. So what was that like working with Roger?
Well, I mean, amazing. Nerve-wracking. I don't think I fully realized that it was happening. So I was like, oh God, wow, okay. So yeah, it was very, very fun to hear like another actor's process as well, because I am just normally me in the booth, and there's rarely any other actors that I get to kind of work with. So it was really fun hearing his process and the questions that he had, and obviously he knows the story so well and the characters so well, and so that was really fun to listen to and take notes on. I was like, oh, it's interesting, good. And just to be able to kind of play as well and bounce off each other and see where he took something and then go along that route with him. That is the joy of acting. Acting is reacting, and it's really fun to kind of go on a little journey together, and one person says a line in a slightly different way that you weren't maybe expecting, and that really changes how you answer. And I love that. I wish we could do it more, but it's very complicated getting two, never mind more actors kind of together at the same time to do voice recording.
Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully one day. Yeah.
This is a zombie apocalypse, and I'm curious, how would you, as a person, as Rebecca, would fare in a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, I would die. Then that's okay. I'm aware of that. No, I think I would do my best. I think now that I have a daughter, I would be far more kind of fierce. The mama bear comes out and the protective zone kicks in. Yeah, I mean, we're a little bit gubbed, I think, living in London. Thankfully, we're out in the sticks, so we're kind of closer to the countryside. We might be able to get away. I think my husband would be pretty. He's pretty savvy, so maybe so long as we could stick together, we might be okay. But no, I definitely I don't have a massive stash of tinned food. I don't know how to light a fire. I'm not squeamish, so I probably would be able to, fight. Who knows? Let's hope it never happens.
Yeah. I mean, you can always
I think something else will take us down first. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I have been thinking about my zombie apocalypse. I'm I'm out the door and I'm gone. Yeah, that's what's going to happen when the apocalypse like that happens. I'm going to be the first to go. That's what I feel. But with Olivia, obviously Dying Light there's 3 Dying Light games. There's always potential of another Dying Light game. Do you see have an idea of okay, maybe more of her, maybe more of a little bit more we can see?
I mean, I guess it leaves it open. Again, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but she's it's open. She could return. I am not keeping my hopes up. I think it's kind of one of those things where Dying Light definitely follows Crane kind of, and then the different people that he meets in the different games and stuff like that. So I highly doubt that she would return, but I would be very pleasantly surprised if she did. Yeah, managing my expectations.
Makes sense. Yeah, for sure. And with all these years, you have given so much time to all of these characters, Eve and Ciaconna and Olivia and more. So, and so in some ways, all these characters are learning something from you. Is there anything that you've learned from Olivia, Ciaconna, and Eve?
Oh, I think with Olivia, what would I have learned from Olivia? Really under the radar sarcasm. Yeah, I think probably her patience and I guess her ability to persuade and calm are very useful. So I could definitely take those kind of into my life. With Ciaconna, I think I do genuinely every so often just take a breath and I'm like, be more Ciaconna. Because she's so she is just so light of spirit, and I think that is such a nice thing to be able to go through your life with. So regardless of what happens, you can just kind of get a nice deep breath in and be like, what will be will be, and I'm just going to have a nice time and play my song. So yeah, her kind of I don't know, meditative calm brightness I would take, and then Eve's pragmatism and her goal orientation is second to none. And I feel like I am quite you know, task driven and goal orientated as well. But yes, I could definitely take her kind of like stoicism and pragmatism in my everyday life. What a nice combo between the three. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
So beautiful. I love that. And like obviously Ciaconna and Eve are like these sort of lead sort of main characters that has a lot of attention. There's a lot of story behind them, much more character evolution. If you had to sort of, if there was a some kind of ranking that you probably have done, where would you rank Eve and Ciaconna and all the characters that you have played?
I mean, what is the ranking based off of? Just in terms of like my enjoyment of them, or like how big I feel that they are, or like they're.
Um, I think overall in your like overall your experience and how you felt with all these
Oh,
characters.
that's so hard. Um, okay, I think I still need to put Alfira at the top of my ranking just because I spent 4 years playing
Wow.
her. And so she is, you know, and I originated her, and that just means a lot. And then probably so just underneath her would be Eve. Because again, I because it was, you know, we were dubbing, so the recording process was only a few months. And as much as, you know, I still feel like I got to originate her English personality very much. You know, I don't like count her as mine. I can't do that. But no, so she's way up there. And then, oh God, I don't know. The others just kind of yeah, probably then uh Ciaconna for the joy that she brings to me. And then Olivia, Luna. Luna is so fun. Um and then yeah, a host of other characters. I've got a few cartoons coming out soon, or animated series, and an animated film as well, which again have left a lasting impression.
Oh
But
wow.
we'll see when they appear. These things take a
Yeah,
while.
that's true. Whenever they come out, I would be excited to see. And with all these games, like especially with Stellar Blade and Wuthering Waves, because they are so huge and they're so big, and people talk about them. There's always updates and there are always things changing. And even with Dying Light, the Beast, there's so many things that there. With any of these games, when you're recording them, do you think like at any point you realize like, oh my god, this is much bigger than I thought it would be?
Um, yes, I'm on something at the minute, which I've been recording for I think about 2 years.
Oh wow.
Um, and I I don't think I realized that just the vast expanse of how I don't know how many chapters there are basically, or just how vast and open, like how big the game is. I when I first you know, they tell you very little when you get a part, or when you audition. It's just kind of, they give you a kind of rough character breakdown. And then it's like, oh, you got the part. I'm like, oh, amazing. And some games or studios will tell you more than others. But I feel like with this one, I just had no idea. You know, I went to record for like a week. And then it kind of, the week came to an end, and I was like, is there, like, do you think there's gonna be much more of her? Like, is she gonna come back? And the developers were like, oh yeah, she's like one of the in the lead gang. You're gonna be doing this for a while. I was like, oh wow, that's great to know. And scripts are still just coming through for it. It seems to just be kind of ongoing, which is amazing. And she's another character that I will feel really sad to leave behind whenever that happens, because it is. I do think it's been about 2 years that
Wow.
we've been doing her. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So this is like a mystery game that you obviously cannot say at this point, I believe.
Yes, can't say yet.
Of course.
No.
Of course. Just
Yeah.
NDAs. Um,
I
um,
know. I think like beta versions are out there and stuff, but you're not
hmm,
allowed to say anything
makes sense. Yeah.
until I'm told. Yeah.
Yeah. These contracts are I know, like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's very hard to like say anything because you never know what's gonna happen. But I'm excited nonetheless. Whenever it comes out, obviously, you're gonna let us know. But yeah, thank you so much, Rebecca, for really taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been lovely. I've had a great time.